Yeah, we got these bookies in the stranglehold. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Cody with Blood Money MMA Bets, and I'm back with another prediction video. This week, I'm going to be breaking down UFC Orlando, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Kevin Holland. Excellent card, man. 15 fights, some really good betting spots, some really good fights just to watch. I can't wait for this card, to be honest, especially after a week off. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving yesterday. Hope everybody ate a ton of turkey, and now I was ready to get back to the grind, man. We're going to do a quick recap of UFC Vegas 65. But before that, I want to go over a couple of things. Everybody, please hit that like button right now. Hit the subscribe button and leave me a comment to help the algorithm, man. It'll help me help my channel grow. It'll help my channel get out there so other people can see it. So everybody, please smash that on all platforms. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you want to get my bets early throughout the week before my official bets videos on Thursday. I post them there on Instagram and Twitter. I post a bet each day, so go check that out at Blood Money MMA Bets. And also, I'm going to be starting a Patreon at the beginning of this year. It's going to have a Discord where you can talk with me and a bunch of other sharp bettors. And then it'll also have all my bets as soon as I make them. I'll still be posting my bets on Instagram and Twitter and doing an official bets video on here. But yeah, man, you'll be getting my bets as soon as I post them. You'll know who I'm picking. You'll know how to be able to go in and beat a bunch of line movement. Because as you see with my bets, I beat a ton of line movement all the time. I put them in way early. And yeah, man, it'd just be a good thing. It'll help my channel because right now, like I pay for StreamYard, UFC, Fight Pass, all this to do like all my research and to, get these shows out to everybody. And it'll just help me pay for some of that stuff. So look forward to that. It's after a year and a half. I've been doing this for about a year and a half at the beginning of the year. So I'm going to start that then. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully get a little help with this, a little support, man. Getting these free bets, getting these winning bets every weekend. And speaking of that, we're going to go into do the recap of UFC Vegas 65. I went 5-0 on my bets for plus 11.5 units, which is my biggest winning week. I've been upping my bets now because that makes 10 out of 11 winning weeks, or 11 out of 12. I'll have to go check, but should be 11 or 12 in a row, which is pretty crazy because it's hard enough to win one week, let alone that many in a row. But here's my Vegas 65 recap. I went 5-0 plus 11.5 units, baby. Needed that when going into a week off. First winning bet, I had Brady Heastand plus 2 units, and he did what I thought he was going to do. He got dropped right at the beginning of the fight, which wasn't good, but he wrestled his way back into the fight and wrestled good and fought tough the whole fight, like he looked like on the Ultimate Fighter, man. He's a pretty good fighter. He's just got to get his striking under control. Second winning bet was Ricky Turcios, plus 2 units on him. And, man, that was a close fight, too. Luckily, he took the back, almost got that rear naked choke at the end of the third. And that's what had to sway the judges to give him the decision. Third winning bet was Miles Johns, plus 2.5 units. And that was another super close fight. Neither guy really did anything. I didn't know what was going to happen when it went to the judges. I felt like Miles, landed a couple takedown stuff, but you never know. Fourth winning bet was easy money, plus 2.5 units on the Chase Sherman over 1.5 rounds. That fight went to decision, and that was just an easy bet. Fifth winning bet was Jack Della Maddalena parlayed with the Charles Johnson over 2.5 rounds. Both of them were pretty easy bets, another plus 2.5 units. So, like I said, 11.5 units, 5-0 sweep last week. Killed it, man. Killed it. That brings my official bet record to 171 and 119 for plus 74.65 units. And I'm just going to keep adding to that. I got 3 more shows, before the end of the year this year to add on to that. Hopefully get up around maybe 90 or something. We'll see. But next year, I'm planning on getting up to 200 units, man. I'm planning on getting up to 200 units. And I really think I can do that. I think with the way I've upped my bets and the way that I've been making smart bets, sharp bets, all that, I feel like I can get it up to I feel like I can get it up to 100. Sorry about that. 100 or 200 units, man. I feel like it'll be easy as long as you make the right bets, you make the right smart reads, like I'm going to do all year next year. It's definitely possible to get to 200, especially. I mean, I'm talking about 200 extra, not plus the 74 units I'm already at right now. So, yeah, let's get right into it, man. This is a long card. So let's get into this UFC Orlando card. First fight that I have is Niko Price versus Philip Rowe. Niko Price is 15-5, currently sitting at plus 100. He's 33 years old. Phil Rowe is 9-3, currently sitting at minus 120. Actually, these odds have flopped. Niko, they don't update them here on Tapology. So Niko Price is actually minus 140 right now, and Philip Rowe is plus 110. Yeah, man, Philip Rowe, they're both about the same age. Niko's about a year older. He's got a lot more wear and tear on him. But Niko Price, man, he's got awkward striking with some really good power. He's got really good hooks. You've seen him hit like Tim Means, drop him, finish him. Just good power in his hands, but he's just an awkward fighter. He's got pretty good wrestling. He's got pretty good jiu-jitsu. He can be taken down himself too. But I think in this fight, he's going to definitely be able to impose his wrestling. That's how he won this Alex Oliveira fight. He came back, almost won the Michelle Pereira fight. But I just think in this fight, with Phil Rowe, man, Phil Rowe's big, tall, long dude, good striking. You've seen he's knocked out his last two opponents, Kosi and Witt. But he's a big, strong, long dude, and he's got pretty good jiu-jitsu. He's not really getting no submissions here, but he does a lot of submission grappling. But he's active off his back. But my problem with Philip Rowe is he can be taken down, and then he'll play off his back in that for like a whole round, and then hope that the guy tires himself out. And then when they get stood up in the second and third round, that's when he usually goes off on these guys. But I don't know if that's going to work in this fight, because Niko Price has pretty good wrestling, and I feel like he's going to definitely be able to stay safe on top. And then Niko Price has really good gas tank. So I think that this is going to be a really good, fun, back and forth scramble fest fight. But I think at the end of the fight, Niko Price is going to be on top, as long as he can stay safe and not get knocked out by any of them long punches that Philip Rowe has. But yeah, man, I'm probably not going to bet on this fight. I'll look at some over-under props. But give me Niko Price, and I'm going to actually take him by decision. I think this fight can actually go to decision. Next fight is in the women's strawweight division. We got Yasmin Jauregui versus Istela Nunes. Jasmine is a beast. You guys seen her fight? What the fuck? You guys seen her fight? The man, dude, Tapology is ridiculous. I don't understand when these like the Tapology, like all these Sonic advertisements came up. I'm gonna start using a different site. I'm sorry, everybody. But all right, man. Yasmin Jauregui, she is 9-4, currently sitting at minus 350. Istela Nunes is 6-3, and she's currently sitting at plus 280. And this is going to be a good fight. These girls are both strikers. You see here, though, Yasmin is 7 years younger than Istela, and I think that could play a big part here, just because she's younger, fresher, more energy, definitely more stamina. But Yasmin looked crazy good in their last fight against Lucinda. This fight right here against Lucindo, man, that fight was crazy. Them girls were beating the crap out of each other, throwing big punches, throwing both of them throwing excellent hooks, man, showing off really good chins. But here's something I wanted to show you guys. If you look here at Yasmin's record, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's got 6 finishes out of 8, man. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I think Istela Nunes is going to be able to keep it close at the beginning of the fight with for that first round. She's got really good striking, but she don't have much power. She's good at striking backwards and all that, but she slows down and falls off a cliff in that second round. And I mean, she'll still fight, but her strikes are coming so slow and just so just they lost all their pop and everything. And I just think Yasmin's going to be able to take over. And I think that Yasmin, like I said, she's a finisher. She's finished 6 out of 8 of her wins. And we've seen Istela Nunes get finished against Ariana Carnelosi, and she almost got finished against Sam Hughes. So I'm going to take Yasmin here. I think Yasmin's going to have the better striking. I think she'll have the better grappling. And I don't even know if she'll need to use that. I think that she's going to be able to knock Istela Nunes out, man. Them left hooks. She's got a crazy left hook. She's got really good leg kicks. But her overhand right then to a left hook that she throws is phenomenal. And I think that's going to put Istela Nunes out. So, yeah, man, remember that right here, Uruguay or Jauregui, that left hook knockout. And I'm thinking about, I'm looking at that under because it's set pretty high right now. Like I believe it's like plus 190 or something like that. So I'm definitely going to be looking at that. Next fight is in the men's featherweight division. We got Darren Elkins versus Jonathan Pearce. Darren Elkins is 27-10, currently sitting at plus 310. Jonathan Pearce is 13-4, currently sitting at minus 420. And actually, it's going to be Darren Elkins at plus 360 and Jonathan Pearce at plus 500. Yeah, I'll just start putting instead of just reading their stuff off. But yeah, man, this is going to be a crazy fight. Both of these guys got decent striking, but they're both wrestler grapplers, man. And it's going to be crazy to see what happens here because Darren Elkins, decent striking. Jonathan Pearce is definitely taller and longer, and he has well, I mean, they got the same reach, but Jonathan Pearce is a little taller, but he has way better movement. He's faster, he's light on his feet. But this fight ain't going to stay striking that long. It's going to be a grappling match, and I don't know who wins that. I know Jonathan Pearce is minus 500, and he's looked good in his last couple fights, being able to out-grapple like Omar Morales and all that. But if you watch Darren Elkins, his last fight with Tristan Conley, he's a dog, in these kind of grappling matches. You've seen with Derek Minner, when it's the people that he can go to the ground with and just have a dog fight with, Darren Elkins is the man at that. And Jonathan Pearce, I know he's a beast. I know. I mean, he's got the. He might have the better wrestling. I don't know. He probably has the better jiu-jitsu. I don't know. Nobody taps out Darren Elkins. Darren Elkins only been submitted by Charles Oliveira in his whole career in 37 fights. So Pearce ain't submitting him. Pierce ain't going to knock him out. So this is going to be a 3-round dogfight, and Pearce better hope that his gas tank holds up. I'm going to say, because he's a little younger, a little fresher, he's 8 years younger. I'm going to say that it does. I'm going to say that he lands more top control and has a little bit better jiu-jitsu to be able to control Darren Elkins with back body triangles and stuff. But I'm staying away from this fight, man. I'm going to be looking at the over, but I'm staying away from this because Darren Elkins, you've seen with Mirsad Bektik, all these guys, man, this is going to be his style of fight. It's going to be a back and forth fight. And I just don't think JSP should be minus 500, but I do think he should win this fight, and I'm going to pick him to win, but not going to have any bets on that fight at all. Next fight is in the women's strawweight division. We got Angela Hill, who is 14-12, currently sitting at plus 105. And we got Emily Ducote, who is 12-6, currently sitting at minus 125. And this is going to be a pretty good girls fight. You know what I mean? Both of them have pretty good striking. Both of them have decent offensive and defensive wrestling. Emily Ducote comes from a wrestling background, and she's got pretty good striking now. You've seen her leg kicks. She has some decent boxing against Jessica Panay. She has a couple of knockouts and some other outside UFC organizations over some girls, but she's pretty good. But man, Angela Hill is just a well-rounded vet that has way more experience. She's fought everybody in the game. She could be like 19-7, really 19-20-6, something like that, after all of her split decisions she's had that some possibly could have went her way. But yeah, dude, this is going to be a tough back and forth girls fight where both girls have good striking, both girls have good offensive and defensive wrestling. But I'm going to give the advantage in a lot of these places to Angela Hill, just as far as experience, as far as being in dog fights. You know what I mean? She went life and death with Amanda Lemos. These are things that Emily Ducote, I don't think, is doing with Amanda Lemos. I think that this is going to be a really close fight. I'm going to stay away from any betting on it, over-unders, none of that. But I'm going to take Angela Hill. I think that this is going to be really close in the stand-up. And I think if anybody lands takedowns, it might be Angela Hill trying to get them, And like I said, she's been in there with everybody and looked good. Emily Ducote only won 29-28 over Jessica Panay. She lost a round of that in striking because they never went to the ground. So Jessica Panay won one round in striking. I think this is going to be a really good fight, man. And I'm, like I said, no bets, but I'm going to take Angela Hill. I think it's going to be really easy, even. I think it's probably going to be a split decision. So why not give me the girl that's fought the tougher competition, that's fought the way tougher females in MMA, and she's looked good. I mean, she looked good. Just her last fight, I would say Lupita Godinez is just as good as Emily Ducote. She beat Lupita. Had a close fight with Verna, but these girls are all like Verna Genaro is legit top of the food chain girl. And in my opinion, as far as her grappling goes, she's probably going to beat Emily Ducote, Lemos, Torres, but I don't know. I just think Angela Hill can come through in that fight and get the win, but I'm not betting it or nothing. Next fight is in the men's lightweight division, and we got Scott Holtzman versus Clay Guida. Clay Guida is 37-22, currently sitting at plus 140. Scott Holtzman is 14-5, currently sitting at minus 160. Both dudes are 39 and 40 years old. You see here, Scott Holtzman's going to be 2 inches taller with 1 inch less of reach, but he is a lot bigger guy. Clay Guida, you know him, decent wrestling, pretty good wrestling, you know, but decent wrestling. Up at 155, it's not as good because he's the smaller guy a lot up here. He fought decent down at 145, but he's got decent herky-jerky striking. You know, there's nothing really special about it. He's throwing a lot of 1-2s, overhand rights, and tries to mix in his wrestling and clinch. Scott Holtzman, man, now he throws power. He's a real big, thick guy. He's a real athletic guy. He's got good grappling. He's got good takedown defense. He's got good takedowns himself, but he has a lot more power, and he's going to be a lot bigger here. I'm really confident. I do like Scott Holtzman a lot in this fight. I know both these guys are a little older, and I know Scott Holtzman, you see here, has took 2 knockout losses in a row. But that was to Benio Dariush and then Mateus Gamrot, who is their levels above Clay Guida. And I liked when Scott Holtzman fought Jim Miller, and he was just able to stop all the wrestling there. He was able to push Miller up against the cage and just hit him with way bigger shots. And Clay Guida is not going to knock out Scott Holtzman. So definitely give me Scott Holtzman here. I think that he's going to get an easy 3-round dominating decision there. Next fight is in the men's lightweight division. We got Michael Johnson versus Marc Diakiese. Michael Johnson, 20 and 18, currently sitting at plus 230. Marc Diakiese is 16 and 5, currently sitting at minus 290. And man, this is going to be a decent fight. If it stays standing, it's going to be a scrap the whole time. If it goes to the ground, it's going to be Diakiese by domination, probably a second or third round finish when Michael Johnson tires out. Michael Johnson, great hands, fast hands, really good power, pretty good chin, but just terrible fight IQ, man. Most of his fights, you see all these losses. He's 4 and 10 in his last 14 fights. I just want to show you guys a couple things about Michael Johnson. He's 4 and 10 in his last 14 fights, right? And before he knocked out Alan Patrick, who's one of the worst fighters in the UFC right now, before he knocked him out in 2022, he hadn't had a knockout since he knocked Poirier out here in 2016. So he had went over almost 7 years without a knockout, and I don't think he's going to get one here. He's fighting a guy, because that's like his only path to victory here. He's fighting a guy in Marc Diakiese who's never been knocked out. He's been submitted, but he's never been knocked out. He's been looking like Mark Nurmagomedov in his last couple fights, man. He's been taking his dudes down, Slava Claus. He took down Hadzovic and just held him down, you know, and beat him up. And he's had some decent wins in his career. That's why I don't think he's going to get knocked out. He didn't get knocked out against Fiziev. He did get hurt, standing stunned against Alves, and took a bad shot and got choked out. But that's not happening here. I see Diakiese being able to stand with Michael Johnson, maybe even winning that. It would be dumb, but being able to, you know, hold his own in there for sure. And then once he gets his wrestling going, Michael Johnson has one of the worst gas tanks when he has to grapple. These motherfuckers. I don't even know how to get that thing down. Man, yeah, his takedown defense and his gas tank striking is fine, but his gas tank when he's grappling is terrible. You've seen Darren Elkins. I'll show you real quick. Darren Elkins, he choked him out by wearing him down. Stevie Ray choked him out, wore him down. Or that was a decision, but he gassed so bad against him. He was up big and then just gassed out at the end of the second and then got dominated in the third. But that Thiago Moises one was bad. But yeah, man, he just gasses and slows down. He got beat up by Clay Guida standing up too. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Michael Johnson. He has a puncher's chance here, but like I said, one knockout in almost 7 years. I'm gonna have to say that he does not knock out Marc Diakiese, who's never been knocked out. So I do like Marc Diakiese. Next fight is in the men's lightweight division. We got Natan Levy versus Genaro Valdez. Natan Levy is 7-1. He's currently sitting at minus 190. Genaro Valdez is 10-1. He's currently sitting at plus 165. And both these guys are right around 31 years old. They're both the same exact size, height, and reach. This is going to be a crazy fight, man. If you watch Natan Levy fight, he's just like kind of sloppy. He looks like he has technique, but he doesn't take the time to set the technique up. He just throws crazy spinning stuff, goes for like sloppy takedowns, and just goes to war basically from the beginning and tries to win a war of attrition. Same thing with Genaro Valdez, man. Both of his fights, if you watch both of them, when he fought on the Contender Series, he almost got taken out by a guy from Alaska FC. It was just terrible. who's just terrible. And he ended up he got rocked a couple times the first round, but he goes just like with the Matt Frevola fight for Valdez. He goes for the kill from the opening second of the fight, man. Like he's just going to kill the person. And it's not looking good. Even he, like I said, he was getting rocked against a guy that wasn't that good on the Contender Series. He got rocked like 8 times versus Matt Frevola. And he's fighting Natan Levy, who's like somewhere like in the middle of them two. You know what I mean? The guy on the Contender Series and Matt Frevola, because Natan Levy just hasn't impressed me. I feel he's only got one, or he doesn't, I believe he doesn't have any KOs in his career. A couple guillotines, yeah, and decisions. So he's not a knockout guy. So he's definitely not, I don't see him knocking out Genaro. He doesn't get knocked out, but these guys are going to go to the ground in crazy scrambles. And I'm not I'm really looking at betting maybe this fight on the under. But yeah, man, I see this being a crazy hectic fight from the start. Both these guys fight crazy and hectic, and then I see eventually Genaro gasses out way quicker than Levy. Even though Levy does too slow down, he slowed down bad against his last opponent, Mike Breeden. He slowed down really bad in that third. I kind of thought he lost that fight, but I think Genaro will slow down even faster. So I'm going to take Natan Levy by submission late in that second, or maybe even early in the third, but I think it's done, man. I think this fight's done before the start of that third round. So I'm definitely going to be looking at that over the under 2.5 on that fight. Give me Natan Levy under 2.5. Next fight is in the men's featherweight division. We got Francis Marshall versus Marcelo Rojo. Francis Marshall 6-0 coming off the Contender Series. He's currently sitting at -180. Marcelo Rojo is 16-8, and he's currently sitting at +145. And this is kind of a hard fight to break down. You know, you got a young kid that's 6-0, Francis Marshall, who has, you know, very low experience. He's a young kid. He's only 23 years old, but he showed phenomenal boxing, phenomenal toughness on the Contender Series and throughout his career. Good wrestling, great jiu-jitsu, really tough kid, man, but he just, you know, hasn't really fought too many people. Marcelo Rojo, he's been fighting for a long time. He's looked decent in the UFC. At times he looked decent against Charles Jourdain. Jourdain had to come back in that third round to get the finish on him. But he's 34 years old now. You know, he's a little, almost 11 years older than this kid. He throws powerful leg kicks. He's going to have the better striking, in my opinion. Definitely more power. So Marshall's going to have, Francis is going to have to come out here and wrestle with this guy, I think, a lot. I mean, I think he's got the striking to stand up and not get knocked out, but I think his legs will get beat up and all that. You know, he's just fighting a striking coach. This was Marcelo Rojo was Brandon Moreno's striking coach for a long time. So yeah, man. But if you look here, here's one thing I didn't even notice. They're fighting at 145. Marshall usually weighs in at 145, and it's saying that Marcelo Rojo is his last weight was 135 when he fought Kyler Murray. So he's actually coming up a weight class. So yeah, I actually like Francis Marshall a lot more now too. But yeah, man, give me Francis Marshall. I'm going to say that he can either late in the third round get him out of there, because that's Rojo's thing. He'll look really good in the first 2 rounds, but he gets tired and falls off a cliff. If you come look, he's got 8 losses. Watch when all his losses are. Third round for Kyler Phillips. Third round for Charles Jourdain. Third round against Casaneta. Third round against Mariquin. He lost a decision there. So look, his last 4 he's gotten submitted. All 4 of them submitted in punches in the third round. So I'm calling it right now that Elliot Marshall submits Marcelo Rojo in the third round. And I might even put a bet in on that, because you see, even if you go back farther in Rojo's career, it's always the third round. It's always the third round. He gasses out. He gives everything he can. Well, them guys got him out in the first. So that guy was just tough. But yeah, man, he just gasses out and then gets taken out in the third round. So I'm gonna be looking at that Francis Marshall, either the over or be looking at a third round prop. Next fight is going to be so good. We got Tracey Cortez versus Amanda Ribas. Tracey Cortez is 10-1, currently sitting at +110. Amanda Ribas is 11-3, currently sitting at -130. And this is going to be a great fight, man. Both these girls are well-rounded. Both these girls are great wrestlers, great jiu-jitsu, and pretty good striking. I'm going to favor Amanda Ribas' striking in this fight. I think that she has better movement, definitely, you know, more fluid in her striking. The wrestling, this is going to be really close. I don't know. Ribas has showed really good wrestling at 120, 115, and even showed really good wrestling at 125. She stayed at 125 flyweight for this. I thought she won that fight against Caitlin Chukagian last time, and I had a bet on her. Cortez, though, man, good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu. You seen her last fight against Melissa Gatto. She was in a couple bad spots on the ground and standing, but was able to tough through it. I think she has a tough weight cut, though, man. Cortez always slows down in that second round and kind of almost takes it off and then comes back tough in the third. But Ribas has phenomenal jiu-jitsu or phenomenal cardio, and she looked really good at 125. So I'm actually going to take Amanda Ribas. I think that she's going to have the better striking, and if she can keep this fight standing for all 3 rounds, she'll definitely win a striking battle. And I think that she's going to be able to. I think that the wrestling is going to almost even out here, and the jiu-jitsu is about the same. I mean, Amanda Ribas is probably a higher black belt than Cortez. So, yeah, man, I like Amanda Ribas in this spot. I'm probably not going to get the betting it. I haven't been betting too much women's MMA lately, but I like Amanda Ribas there, and the price is about right. But that's going to be a really good fight because both of these girls are not prospects because they're both like 28, 29, but they're both top of the line prospect girls at 125 for sure. Next fight is going to be Raphael dos Anjos versus Bryan Barberena. And yeah, this thing got mixed around. I don't know how. Hold on. 1, 2. Yeah. This is the co-main event now, but for some reason I have it at this. It's going to be a good fight, man. You got Dos Anjos going back up to 170 to come up to fight Bryan Barberena. Dos Anjos 31-14, currently sitting at -500. Bryan Barberena is 18-8, currently sitting at plus 420. Yeah, man. Dos Anjos, 38 years old, doesn't show it though. Bryan Barberena, 33 years old, still fights good. Dos Anjos is just going to be better in this fight, man. I think his striking's just as good, if not better, than Bryan Barberena. He's definitely going to have a way better clinch, and his wrestling is going to be dominant here, man. If you go watch Barberena versus Jason Witt, it was just a terrible look. Even if you watch Barberena versus Matt Brown, all these guys were taking him down, holding him down. I thought Darren Weeks won that fight, to be honest, and it wasn't even that good of a fight. But I thought Jason Witt, man, that beat him, he was just taking him down so easy. Robbie Lawler shouldn't even have been in there. He shouldn't be in there anymore. He doesn't have the fight left in him. But Matt Brown was taking him down. I thought Matt Brown won that fight too. I was there live. But Dos Anjos is just a beast, man. He's tough. He's gritty. He's got phenomenal cardio, and that's the thing that Bryan Barberena usually uses to beat people. It's his cardio, and Dos Anjos in a 3-round fight is going to have phenomenal cardio. I think that after seeing Witt take Barberena down so easy so many times, that Dos Santos is definitely going to be able to do that, and he's going to be able to hold Barberena down. I don't think he finishes him, but I do think that he gets a clear-cut dominant decision, man. This is just – it's a step up in competition for Bryan Barberena, and it's just not a good one because of the grappling ability of Raphael dos Anjos, man. So, yeah, man, I see it being a boring fight. I see Dos Anjos taking him up against the cage, holding him there, beating him up, doing a little bit, landing the takedown, holding him down, taking his back, stuff like that. But definitely think it goes to decision, and I see Dos Anjos getting that. Here is a phenomenal fight, man. It's a replacement fight. We had Jack Hermansson versus Derek Brunson, and now Brunson got hurt, so we got Roman Dolidze in, man, and this is going to be a phenomenal fight. I've been so hyped up on Dolidze after his last couple fights with Dawkins and Hawes, man. He's phenomenal, man. The dude's showing power striking. His striking's getting better. He comes from a world-class jiu-jitsu background, and the dude is a giant beast. With Phil Hawes, he was piecing him up in the striking. So then Phil Hawes shot for a takedown. As soon as he shot for a takedown, Dolidze, phenomenal jiu-jitsu. And his jiu-jitsu is leg locks. He loves leg locks, knee bars, and all that. And most people ain't ready for that. So he popped Phil Hawes' leg right away. And then when Phil got up, he ended up going and knocking him out when he was a little hurt. And with Kyle Dawkins, he hit him with the freaking giant hook that just hurt him, dropped him. As soon as he got up, he hit him with this giant knee against the cage in the clinch, man. I just really like this guy. Jack Hermansson, it's going to be a tough fight for him because it's like, it's weird because it's like, I think Dolidze is definitely, I know he's going to hit harder than Hermansson. I'm going to say Hermansson has the cleaner boxing, but Dolidze is going to be able to hit way harder, and he can hit Jack a couple times and finish him. And Jack's main thing, he loves to wrestle and grapple, you know, get the takedown, work his jiu-jitsu and all that. But I think he'll have the better wrestling here, but I don't think he'll have the better jiu-jitsu as far as, you know, just submissions and stuff, because Dolidze is like a world champ compared to him. Yeah, man, this is going to be a crazy, crazy fight. It's lined pretty good. You got Jack Hermansson is lined at -150. Dolidze is +130. And I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm going to say at some point he's able to crack Hermansson hard. You know what I mean? Because like I said, Hermansson likes to use his wrestling and grappling, and I don't think he's going to want to use that in this fight, kind of like he did against he didn't even take down Chris Curtis last fight, just beat him up standing up. But I think he's going to be able to piece up Dolidze here and there until Dolidze lands some big shots on him, man, or gets some type of sub. So no bets on this fight or nothing yet. I just can't wait to see it. Honestly, it's going to be a really good fight. But give me Dolidze, man. I think that he's on the come up. He's on the come up, and I want to see what he does, man. What he can do. Speaking of Kyle Daukaus, man, we got Kyle Daukaus versus Eryk Anders, and yeah, man, this is probably not going to be the best fight in the world, to be honest. I think it's going to be a boring clinch up against the cage fight. If you watch Daukaus fight Stolfus, or if you watch Eryk Anders fight anybody, both these guys like to hold each other, their guys up against the cage if they can't land the takedowns, and just do like boring clinch stuff, man. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I don't think these guys are going to be striking too much at range. Daukaus is coming off a huge knockout loss to Roman Dolidze, where he got his eye broke. He had his face broke 6 months ago, had a surgery under his eye, had a plate put in and stuff. So that was only 6 months ago. Eryk Anders looked good his last fight against Dong Young Park. And I thought he actually won that fight against, Jung Young Park. I actually thought he won that fight. I had a bet on Park, but I thought he won. Obviously got tapped out by Nunes, but that's not going to happen here. I think that this fight is going to be a boring fight. I think that that Eryk Anders is going to be able to be the bigger guy and more physical. But I actually think that Daukaus may be able to get the control time against the cage, but I think that Anders is going to have the better striking. This fight's so hard to call. It's really just hard to call. I don't like the fact that Daukaus is coming back after 6 months, getting knocked out that bad 6 months ago, having surgery. You know, he could have only been off for a month or two and then already back. I like Eryk Anders out of fight ready. He looked really good his last fight. So give me Eryk Anders as the underdog to get a boring decision win. I think that these guys, like I said, do a lot of grappling up against the cage. And I just like Eryk Anders to land the bigger shots when they are striking. Even in the clinch, he can land some big shots. So it's kind of a weird fight to bet at all. I like the over in it too, but give me Eryk Anders, and give me Eryk Anders by decision. Next fight is in the men's flyweight division. We have Matheus Nicolau versus Matt Schnell. Here's another fight that I think is going to be a boring fight. I know a lot of people think that this probably is going to be a barn burner, but it's not. And Matheus Nicolau, phenomenal jiu-jitsu, good wrestling, good striking. But what he does, man, is he just skirts around the outside, throwing little pitter-patter stuff, waiting to counter guys. And very low output. If you look, his 1, 2, 3, 4, you got 4 decisions in a row right there for him, right? Then you got that Darce choke over Alan Gabriel. But if you go back, man, decision. So 6 out of his last 7 fights have gone to decision, right? And I don't see no difference here. I think that if you watch Matt Schnell fight, Matt Schnell, when he fights guys like this that stand around the outside, skirt around and throw punches, you know, and just like do kind of like a counter match, he goes to decision too. I know he can have them crazy fights with like Sumadarji, but Matheus Nicolau doesn't do that. He doesn't do like Roy Val. He does like Boncharan, where he was just skirting around the outside, landing some decent punches on Matt Schnell, landed a little bit more power, got the decision. Tyson Nam, same exact style. Matheus Nicolau's a little better, but Matheus Nicolau goes backwards. Tyson Nam likes to go forwards, but he's really low output. But that's the same kind of thing. It was just a boring striking match, kickboxing match, because Matt Schnell's not going to be shooting for takedowns here. Matheus Nicolau, I don't think he will either too much, because Matt Schnell's pretty dangerous on the ground. So I think it's going to be a boring kickboxing match. And I'm going to take Matheus Nicolau on that, but it's going to be close, man. Matt Schnell's bigger. You see he's 2 inches taller with 4 inches of reach. And I just think that this is Matheus Nicolau sitting at -330 right now, and Matt Schnell sitting at +240. And I'm telling you, I think that this fight is going to be really close. I don't think Matheus Nicolau finishes Matt Schnell, and I don't think Matt Schnell finishes him. So give me the decision in a really close fight, because Matheus Nicolau is so low output that he don't just dominate guys. Go watch him fight Manel Cave. Go watch him fight Tim Elliott, dude. He barely did anything against Tim Elliott, and he damn near did even less against David Dvorak, and I watched that live. So give me Matheus Nicolau, but it's going to be close, and like a real close decision, man. Just like a close decision. Next fight, we have Tai Tuivasa versus Sergey Pavlik. Tai Tuivasa is 15-4, currently sitting at plus 155. He's 29 years old. Sergey Pavlik is 16-1, currently sitting at minus 190, and he's 30 years old. So these guys are about the same age. Sergey's going to have 1 inch of height and 9 inches of reach, which is going to be crazy in this fight. But I mean, it's the same thing that Cyril Gane had. And Tai Tuivasa just has a weird way of being able to get inside on these big guys and land his big shots. I mean, he landed shots on Cyril Gane that no one's been able to land. See, Francis Ngannou couldn't hit him with none of them big shots. Derek Lewis couldn't hit him with none of them big shots. Volkov, none of these guys. And Tai Tuivasa dropped him. Yeah, man, this is going to be a crazy fight. You got Tai Tuivasa, excellent boxing. I think he's got more power than Sergey as far as just one punch power. And Sergey hits hard, man, but he throws them big, longer hooks and straights. He's looser in his movement and punches, where Pavlik kind of throws robotic. He's got them long arms, but he comes fast. But Tuivasa is always in close, coming, hitting you from weird angles, man. Dangerous elbows in the clinch. You've seen with Derek Lewis. Really good uppercuts, really powerful leg kicks. I think he's going to just be faster here. I don't like that he got KO'd by Cyril Gane 3 months ago, but yeah, man, I think he has a really good chance in this fight. Sergey Pavlik is good. He only really boxes. He throws really big, long punches. When he gets guys hurt, though, man, he goes nuts for that knockout, and I like that, but it's also dangerous because I had him against Derek Lewis, and he hurt Lewis right off the bat, but Lewis has been known to play possum, and he went chasing after Lewis to get the knockout, and Lewis started throwing big bombs back at him, but he's got to watch that because Tai Tuivasa does the same exact thing. He did it to Cyril Gane in that last fight, acted like his stomach was hurt. But I expect this to be blazing saddles from the freaking beginning, dude. If you look at Sergey Pavlik, 16 wins. I believe all of them but 2 are in the first round. Look, first round. Then he has 2 decisions. He had these 2 decisions with these 2 guys back in 2015, 2016. He's got them first rounds, and ever since then, or he's got 3. He had 3 decisions, 1, 2, 3, all back in 15, 17, and then since then, just knocking dudes dead in the first round again. And Tai Tuivasa, he does a little bit of the same. You know him, bam, bam. All his, he's got it pretty early. First round, knocked out in the second round. That Cyril went to the third, but Cyril's a special dude. But all the rest of these are first round. So both these guys knock people out in the first round, and they can get finished. Pavlik got finished in the first round. Tai Tuivasa has been finished in the second, third. So I'm going to say it goes under the 1.5. That's just what all the stats and everything says with these 2 dudes. And I'm going to take Tai Tuivasa as the underdog, actually. I think he's fought the higher level of competition. I think that he can get inside on Pavlik. And I think that if he hits Pavlik's is awkward and slow. When he got taken down by Alistair Overeem, he couldn't get off his back. He was a fish out of water, and Overeem just elbowed him out within like 35, 40 seconds having him on the ground. And if Tai Tuivasa drops him like he did Cyril Gane, and he can't hop up all fast like Cyril Gane did, and he takes a couple punches on the ground, he's going to be done. So, man, give me Tai Tuivasa. I don't know if I'm going to have any bets on this. I don't even know if I'll be able to get to the under, because I've seen that line drop so much that it's just like minus like 190 or 200 already. So I don't know. We'll see what we get to on that. We are to the main event, everybody. We got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Kevin Holland. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is 16-6, currently sitting at plus 110. We got Kevin Holland 23-8, currently sitting at minus 140. And you see about almost a 9-year age difference. You see Kevin Holland's 3 inches taller with 6 inches of reach. And, man, this is such another hard fight to call, because this is going to be a striking match. And Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, they usually don't lose the striking matches. You know what I mean? Like you've seen just within the last 2 years. I know he's 39 years old now, but within the last 2 years, he's beat Jeff Neal and Vicente Luque, who are kind of like strikers, just like Kevin Holland. The only difference is Kevin Holland hits pretty hard just like them, but he's a lot longer than them. And I think he has better boxing than them, and he's a little faster than, maybe not Jeff Neal, but he's faster than Vicente Luque. Man, this is going to be a crazy fight. It's like Stephen Thompson, when you watch him fight with Jeff Neal and Luque, man, he's using them side kicks. He's keeping the distance. He's keeping the range. And then when they're looking for the side kick, he's piecing them up with two pieces and then getting out of the way. Just really, really, really good. And then, Kevin Holland, man, long punches, good power. He's got decent body and leg kicks. No wrestling, but that's not going to be needed here. It's going to be a striking match. And one thing about Stephen Thompson, here's a weird stat for Stephen the Wonder Boy Thompson. If you go back and look, he hasn't knocked anybody out, which is weird, for 7 years. The last time he knocked somebody out was Johnny Hendricks with the spinning back kick, and that was 7 years ago. It's weird. Look at all them decisions. He's got a loss by knockout, but no wins by knockout in 7 years. And they're saying this fight's going to go under 2.5 rounds. And if it's going to go under 2.5 rounds, most likely, or even under the 5, you got to assume the finish is going to be from Kevin Holland, who's never been knocked out. He's been submitted. The boy been submitted. He never been knocked out. If you go look, man, submission, rear naked choke, but no knockouts, man. So I'm thinking that eventually throughout this fight, he's going to be able to take Wonder Boy stuff, and eventually he's going to catch Wonder Boy at some point. I hate to say it, but I got to take these new, man. You got to fade these old guys, dude. Wonder Boy almost 40. UFC ain't trying to pump up Wonder Boy in this situation. They want Kevin Holland to get him a win. He must know some or something, because Kevin Holland got to pick this fight after taking that Hamzat fight. On 1 day notice. So I'm sure they was like, well, who do you want? We'll give it to you. And he picked Stephen Thompson. So, yeah, man, give me Kevin Holland. And I'm going to say that he does get the finish at some point in this fight, because he gets hit and he throws back hard. And I'm going to say that up until he gets that knockout, that Stephen Thompson might be kind of beating him. You know what I mean? He might be kind of beating him, but I'm going to say until then, though, that he does. He's going to get that knockout. So, yeah, man, give me Kevin Holland by knockout. I don't have no bets on that. I don't know if I'll be betting that fight or not. I might look at that over under, but I appreciate everybody hanging out with me. Like this video right now. Take the time, hit it, like, subscribe. We got some pay-per-view show coming up on the 12th on Johnny K Picks channel. We're going to do a pay-per-view show, have a couple people on there. So, yeah, man, I can't wait for this. I appreciate everybody checking this out. Everybody have a good weekend with no UFC on. Enjoy it. Spend it with your family. And then I will see you guys next week. And then we'll have a great UFC on that. I will see you guys. See y'all later.